data set that we will be using today is called the dashboard data set. And this data set is an Excel workbook. It has 6 tables, namely the date table, the sales table, products table, customers table, orders table, and region. So a link to download the data set would also be provided so that you can practice with this data set. Okay, so the first things first, you have to go to your Power BI app, and if you've downloaded it, so you just simply look for it and click on it. Okay, so your Power BI app is opening up. So when you open your Power BI app, the first thing you should see should be this window saying Power BI Desktop. And what we need is to come to the Get Data button. So you click on the Get Data button. And when you come here, it opens an interface to show you all of the connectors of Power BI, meaning all the file formats and services that Power BI can connect to pull data. So you can extract data using all of these connectors. We have this. We have the file formats. We have the databases. We have Microsoft Fabric, Power Platform, Azure, online services, and online services that's to do with CRM systems and Google Analytics and all and others. So these are all of those connectors that Power BI can pull data from. But today we will be working with an Excel workbook today, which is basic. And we're doing that because this video is majorly for beginners, those that are new to Power BI or those that have used Power BI before are just curious. And we're just going to use this exercise to walk around Power BI to explain concepts like data modeling and data modeling and data transformation at the very basic level. So Excel workbook. So you just click on your Excel workbook. I've already downloaded the workbook to my computer and I click on connect. And the name of my file dashboard data set, and it is stored in a folder called Ground Analytics. So I'm just going to open it here in Power BI. So it is loading. So we're just waiting for it to load. Okay, yeah, it's loaded already because we can't see any running and this is showing green. And I can't see anything here because I have to click on on these tables to have a preview. And also notice that this is grayed out. This is grayed out because you have not selected any of the tables here. So the first things first, I'll check on my customers table. And the reason I'm doing this is to make sure that my data is coming in the format that I saw it in the Excel workbook. So if there's anything wrong with your data set, this is usually one of the first points to notice the problem or the change. And I have my date table also. I have my orders table. I have my products table. I have my region table. I have my sales table. So I'm just going to load everything to Power BI. But hold on a minute. I'm not exactly going to use this load. I'm going to click on transform data. And that's because when I click on load, it takes it straight to the Power BI model. But when I click on transform data, it takes it to the Power BI interface called Power Query Editor. So in the Power Query Editor, that is where you transform your data, you do your data cleansing, you make sure that whatever is wrong with the data is fixed, wrong values are corrected, the data formats are sorted, and all of that. So I'm just going to click on transform data. Then Power BI opens up what we call the Power Query Editor from what you can see on the screen here. Power Query Editor, and I have all of my tables loaded up here. All 6 tables, the customers table, the dates table, the orders table, products and region and sales. So first things first, we're going to look at our data sets to confirm that our data set is clean and ready for transformation, ready for modeling, sorry. Because when it comes to data analytics or when it comes to business intelligence, data transformation and data modeling are core to business intelligence. It's called to business intelligence, sorry. So you must get your data transformation right, and you must get your data modeling right, or else whatever intelligence you're deriving from your data will be entirely wrong. That's the idea. So the next thing we're going to do here is we'll come to the view tab. So this view tab allows us to see our data. All these things here that we can see, these green lines and all of these descriptions beneath it, is a feature that is on the view tab. So if I come here and I untick column distribution, you see that some of it has gone off. So what we want to focus on here is the column quality. Now, in order to know the quality of your data, you use a feature called column quality that can be found in the view tab. So this tells us the state of our data. For this data set now, I can see that I have 79% valid data set and I have 21% empty data set. So what that means is that I have issues in this data. The empty means I have empty columns in this data set. The aim should be that every column of your table should be 100% valid. Every column of your table should be 100% valid. So for this practical session, what you're going to do is you're going to come to this column that has issues, and then you're going to click on it to look at what is going on with it. What exactly is the matter? So here we have something called null, and Power BI flags null or gives you null when you have empty columns. So null basically means there is a column in your data set that is empty. There's a column or there are columns that are empty. So what we're going to do now is we will just click on remove empty. We can untick this null. If we untick this null, whatever we do is going to be recorded in these applied steps. But because it is empty, or because when you come back to this column, Power BI has flagged it for you and told you that the problem is something is empty here. So what you're going to do is you can just click on remove empty, and that's it. You have your values at 100%. Your valid is now 100%. It has filtered the rows and removed empty. And better still, it has recorded the step here under where we called applied steps. So if I want to roll it back, I can just cancel this, and then I have the column back, meaning whatever changes you make in this section need to be recorded in the applied steps. So the next thing to do will be to check the data types of the customer table. Customer ID is text, yes. Customer name is text. Segment text, country text, city text, state text, and then postal code, numeric values, region text. Now, with the postal code, we know that US addresses carry numeric values as postal codes, but the way that Power BI treats numeric values is different. Power BI considers Power BI treats numeric values as calculations. It aggregates them. That's the word. So it aggregates them, and we do not want to be seeing aggregated values, aggregated postal code values. What I mean by it aggregates them is it can perform a sum function on your column. So by default, it will sum a column that has numeric values. Either those numeric values are decimal or whole numbers. Power BI just sums it up by default. So in order to stop that from happening, what we're going to do is we're going to change this data type to text. And that's it. So that is the transformation for the customer table. So before we leave here, one more thing. Let's click on column distribution. And column distribution, what it does is the column distribution is just the green lines that you find here. It tells us how many values are unique in our table and how many values are distinct. So by unique, it means the value appears only once. By distinct, it means it appears one or more times. Okay, and this can be the difference between your primary column and your secondary column. For your primary column, your distinct values must equal your unique values. But for your secondary column, the distinct values will be more than the unique values. So that is how you know. What which column is a primary column and which column is a secondary column. Is a foreign column. So it has to do with primary keys. A primary column is a column that contains values that known as primary keys and are unique identifiers of each row of a table. But the secondary or the foreign key column contains values that are known as foreign keys, but they are not unique identifiers. They are known as reference values because the foreign key in a particular table or the foreign key column in a particular table is a primary key column in another table. So that's a concept that I would explain sometime later. So our dates column, for now, skip the dates column, we'll come back to it. And let's come to the orders column. The orders column, we have our order ID, order date, ship mode, customer ID. We have all the data types correct. And for the order ID columns, distinct equals to unique. So this is the primary column for the order ID column. And that's okay, yeah. For our products table, the products table, this first column is the primary key column, 1000 distinct equals to 1000 unique. And we can see the data types for the columns, text, 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 text. But we have a problem here. The column headers are seen here as column 1, column 2, column 3, column 4. That is wrong. So when we come to the first row, we notice that we have the column headers as product ID, category, subcategory, and product name, meaning that the first row actually carries the column headers for the products table. So how are we going to resolve this? Very simple. Come to your Home tab, and when you come down your Home tab, you see something here that tells you use first row as headers. So either you use this here, or you come to your Transform tab. When you come to your Transform tab, the second button here tells you use first row as headers. So you can either do it from here or you can do it from the Home tab. So let's come back to the Home tab. Let's not travel so far. And let's click down on this, use first row as headers. And when you do that, you notice that the first row is promoted to headers. To column, the first row values have been promoted to the column headers. So this is how you sort this out. We come to the region table and we have the same problem. We have the name of the column or the column header as the first row. So the same process, use first row as headers. Come here, use first row as headers, and voila, we have it. We come to the sales column. And in the sales column, we have the row ID here is the primary key column for the sales column, is the unique identifier for each row. So what we are going to do here is, because it also comes in numeric values, and remember what we said about numeric values, that numeric value, Power BI tends to treat numeric values as tends to perform calculations of numeric values like aggregations, like sum and all of that. So what we're going to do is we're going to change this data type to text. So then it's going to be used to just identify each row rather than treat it as a unique value, and rather than treat it as a numeric value. So this is now text. And notice that the position changes from right to left. And let's go down the table to see that we have the right, do we have the right data types? Yes, I believe that we have the right data types. Anything that needs to be changed? No. So we are done with all with 5 out of 6 tables. So we'll go back to our date table. And for our date table, what we want to do here is, because we want to do some time, we may need to do some time intelligence functions. What we are going to do is to create the date table, or to fledge out the date table. So we are going to fledge out our date table. And now we're going to do that is, we are going to come to this hard column, meaning we are creating new columns for our date table. So we want to have things like year, we want to have the quarter, we want to have the month, and we also want to have the day of the week. Okay, so this is the easiest way to create your date table. Okay, so add column. We come to the add column bit here, and the first thing we are going to do is we'll come to this date here. So add column on this ribbon and the date. Do a drop down, and the first thing we want to do is our year. So you have options for start of the year or end of the year. So we are just going to stick to year. Just simpler here. And this is it. We have the year here. 3 distinct, 0 unique. Remember that it's profiling based on 900 and based on the top 1,000 rows, meaning that there are more than 1,000 rows on this table. And the next thing we're going to do is we're going to create the quarter. We want to have the quarter. So we go back and highlight the date column and come here. Dates, quarter will be quarter of the year. And here we have the quarter of the year. You can always click on this to check the values. 1, 2, 3, 4. This is it. Quarter of the year. We have 4 quarters in the year. And so the next thing we'll be doing will be to create the month. And click on your date column again. Click on date and come to month. And month will be, we'll click on month here. So month is giving us the numeric values for the month. You can check here, 1, 2, 3, 4, up until 12. And we will tell you later, later in the video, you will see the reason why we have these month numbers. So now we want to have the month names. So click on date, come here, and month, name of month. So now we have the name of the month: January, February, March, April, May, up until December. So once again, we also want to have the day of the week. Yes, we want to have the day of the week. So the day of the week, we come here and if we click on day, it's just going to give us 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. But now we're just going to keep things simple and just click on name of day. Let's have the name of the day. So we have it Wednesday, Thursday. So what it means is the 1st of January 2014 was actually a Wednesday. So this is the easiest way to create a date table in Power BI. It doesn't give you much flexibility because you're just clicking and dropping and doing whatever you like. You're just clicking it and you're, creating the dates. So it doesn't give you as much flexibility, but it's definitely the easiest way to create a date table in Power BI. So for now, for this practical, this will be sufficient. So the next thing we are going to do now is we are going to load our tables to our Power BI model. And to do that, come back to Home on this top tab, Home, and click on this part that says Close and Apply. So Close and Apply opens it, brings your data sets into the Power BI desktop model area. So we're just waiting for it to load, basically. Also, for Power BI, when you come to the Power BI desktop, we have 3 features here. The first is the report view, which is what you can see. The second is the data view that shows you your tables in the Power BI model. And the third is the model view that also shows you your tables and the connection between your tables. So we're going to be doing a little bit of work here. We've already done the data transformation, but now we're going to work on the data modeling. And for the data modeling, what we're going to do is we're going to connect the tables to use the star schema. We're going to get our tables to talk to one another using the star schema, basically. So, and there are 2 types. We have the star schema and the snowflake schema. But for the purposes of this video, we'll be using the star schema. So we are going to make sure that all our tables are here. We're supposed to have 6 tables. We have 5. Okay, there's one hiding here. We bring it to the front and we have our dates table here. And in this star schema, you'll have one fact table and you'll have what we call dimensions table connecting to the fact table. Now, the fact table is the table that contains all your values. The values that will be aggregated, the values that will be used for calculation purposes. That is your fact table. So in this setup, in this model, your fact table is your sales table. It's the table that contains the profit, contains the quantity, contains the discount. You can see it here. It has the summation figures here. All of the summation figures here. That is your sales table. So this is our fact table. And then every other table here is a dimension table. So why is it called a dimension table? Some tables actually describe the different aspects of your business process. So what it means is that if you're looking to trace maybe the sales targets or profits or anything like that. The dimension tables, that's it. That's like the simplest explanation. It contains the details about your business or your business process. So an example is the product table. The product table contains the details about your products. Orders table contains details about your about orders. Date table also is the date table is a dimension table, and the orders table. So all of this contain details about your business. That's what it is. But the sales table is a fact table. The fact table contains figures. But every other table here is a dimension table. So the aim is to connect the dimension tables to the sales table in what we call a star schema design, meaning that the sales table is the hero and everybody connects to the sales table. So whatever uh, table is not connected to the sales table, we connect it to the sales table and we disconnect it from whatever table we don't want it to connect to. So we are going to start with the region because it's the most obvious on the left side. And when you see broken lines like this, it means that there is a connection between the two tables, but it is not active. So the first thing is we are going to remove the connection between the region table and the table that is up here, the customers table, because the customers table is not the star of the show. So you just right click and you click on delete. So it asks you, yes, delete the relationship. So once you've deleted that relationship, you can actually establish a relationship between the regions table and the sales table. So how you do that, how you make that relationship active is you come to this relationship between the region table and the sales table, you right click again and you click on properties. And when you click on properties, it opens this interface. So what you do now is you just click on make this relationship active and you click on OK. When you do that, you see it has come with a one-to-many. Whenever you see this asterisk in Power BI or in your Power model, it means many. It stands for the word many and one, meaning that each unique value in the regions table actually appears more than once in the sales table. So that's what it means by a one-to-many relationship. Meaning if I pull out one value from the regions table, it will give me all the occurrences of that value on the sales table, depending on additional filters, maybe like year or month and all of that. So we have sorted the sales table. The next table that we will be working on is so we move this up there. The next one is the orders table. And the orders table is connected to the customers table using the customer ID. If you do that, using the customer ID. So what we are going to do is we are going to disconnect the orders table and the customers table. So come back to the link between them, right click and just delete it. The star here is the sales table. So when you delete that, we can now connect the orders table to the sales table. So the orders table is connected to the sales table using the order ID column. What you do is come here, right click, properties, and you make this relationship active. You click on OK. So now like that relationship is active. Okay, so the next thing we are going to do is we are going to connect the product ID and the product table to the sales table. And we'll be using the product ID because product ID also appears on sales table. We connect the product table to the sales table using the product ID column. You don't need to right click. What you just need to do is hold down your control key or somewhere on your keypad and just drag the product ID column to from the product table to the product ID column in the sales table. Okay, so now it's telling us here that it has a many-to-many relationship. It says this relationship has cardinality many-to-many. So the problem here is that, and it has shown us the problem, the product ID column actually still contains null values. Remember we removed empty in the beginning, but it's okay. We are going to sort that out in a bit. So just click on cancel. We are going to sort that out in a bit. Let's connect every other table and then we come back to the products table. So for the dates table, the only other dates on the sales table is the other date. So we are going to connect the dates here to the other date here. And you see that one-to-many. Are we missing any other thing? No, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 tables. So let's go and sort the problem of the product table. And in order to do that, you come here to the top ribbon, sorry. You have the Home tab. Click on Transform Data right here. Transform Data. When you click on Transform Data, it takes you back to the Power Query Editor. So here at in the Power Query Editor, what we are going to do is we're going to come to the product table. And here we can see, because the problem is with the product ID, it's telling us that, okay, that our product ID column has some, it's connecting to the sales table on a many-to-many relationship. So what we're going to do is come back here and check. And we're just going to click on Remove Empty. We click Close and Apply. And then we try our luck again. And that's it. So we've connected the product ID on the products table to the sales table. So this is our model. This is what it looks like. Now what we have is the star schema. All the tables, all the dimension tables are connected to one fact table, which is the sales table. And data modeling is very important because this model only contains 6 tables. There are models that contain as much as 30 tables. So with this, I think we are all set to start building our reports. So we can now move to the report pane here. And before we do that, just one more thing. We come to the data view. For our data view, we come to our data table, to the date table, sorry. And because we are going to be performing some time intelligence functions, we are going to mark our date table as date table. So come here, mark as date table, select the column and select date. And it should tell you that it has validated it successfully. And you click on OK. So what it means is that we can now use this table for time intelligence functions. And now we can start building our visuals. So what exactly do we want to build? We have it here. This is the dashboard that we want to build. A very simple dashboard, at least for starters, and we're going to use a few, there will be a few techniques that will be discussed, and we're going to use a few visuals for this particular dashboard. So this is what is going to be built. So let us go back to our Power BI. Okay, so this is our report view. First things first, we are going to work on our canvas. And in Power BI, the canvas is by default. So we come here, we have on this report view side, what we have is first of all, we have the filters section, we have the visualization section, we have the data section. Data holds the tables, visuals hold the visuals, filters holds filters that you can apply to all pages, or you can apply to particular visuals. So for now, we want to work on our canvas, and this visualization has the build visual pane, and it also has the format your report page pane. So for our canvas, what we want to do is we want to change the setting for our canvas. And to change the setting for our canvas, we just simply come here, canvas settings. By default, Power BI uses the 16.9, but you can change it. You can customize it. So to customize it, we're going to click on custom. And for height, we're going to use 1080. And for width, we are going to use 1920, just to make things look nice and clean. And so this is it. So we have our canvas ready for us to build. So we have our tables on this side. And the first thing we are going to build, looking at our dashboard, the first thing we are going to build is this. We're going to build the KPI board right here. And what we're going to use to build that is an app, sorry, not an app, a visual called add new. Now we have two types of card visuals. The one of them is this. Actually, three. One is called the multi-row card, somewhere around here, multi-row card. But for this one, we have the card visual. We also have what we call the card new. Now, the difference between the two is for us to achieve this sort of visual in record time, we'll use the card new. If we were to use the card visual, we have to have this one after the other. So we'll go back to our diagram here, to our Power BI, and we take off this card. And we use the card visual. Is highlighted here. And we want to show our KPI values. Those are the values on the sales table. And so the KPI values, we want to show sales here. We move it to the data pane. We want to show sales. We want to show quantity, right? We want to show profit. Maybe not profit. We use another visual for profit. We want to show discounts, yes. And we also want to show the number of orders. So we bring that here. And let's expand this to see what it all looks like, to see if we're getting things right. Just highlight it and drag it and bring it here. Yeah. So from what we can see, some of sales is good, some of quantity is good, some of discount is good, but we have first order ID. Why is it showing us this? Because we expect a numeric value here, right? There should be a numeric value here, but the reason it's coming up as this is because Power BI has realized that what we have in that column is of a text format. The data in that column is text format. So it's instead of it to count it like we want it to do, it's picked out the first value in the order ID column. So what we're going to do is we're going to change the calculation on the order ID column here. So you just click on this arrow that looks down here, and you see something called, is pick the first one. So we're going to use what we call the count distinct. The reason we are not using a count is for count and count distinct, they count things differently. Count will count all the other IDs on the table, but count distinct, we count each appearance of each unique ID. Yes, that's the word. Each unique ID in the table. So we'll do another table to explain the differences between the count and the count distinct, feature. So we click on count, and right away you see that it's changed. Now this dot here, or this point here, it actually means a comma in Power BI. So it's not something that you should be stressed out about. So it means it's 994 orders. That's 1,000 orders, because it has the K value here. And so we're going to do further editing on what we can see here. Count of order ID. We're going to do some further editing on it. You can reduce this. Then if you want to edit it, you come to this side, this visualization pane, and you click on format your visual. So we can look at the callout values. The callout values are the values that appear inside here, and you can just do a few some formatting on it depending on what you want to do. And you can change the font type and change how you want it to appear. So I want it to appear like this in the middle, and that's okay for now. Leave every other thing as it is. The labels are on. So the labels are the top, the values at the top here. You can change the alignment. You can do whatever you want with it. You can increase it so that it becomes bolder. It becomes bigger, and then you can turn on your bold. So yeah, so it's looking a little nicer now, I believe. You can come to general. You can turn on titles, but if you turn on titles, meaning you have to take this off and put in your own titles. You can also play with that. So for the effects, I'm just going to use the shadow. You can have a visual border if you want. That's totally up to you. I'm just going to use the shadow, and this is what it's going to lift it up from the canvas and just give it some sophisticated look. So let's click on the visual border so you see what it does to it. If you put on the visual border, then it has a visual, an actual visual border. But I do not want a visual border, so I'm just going to take that visual border off. I'll come back to general effects and I'm going to turn off a visual border. I'm okay with just the shadow. So this is the first bit taken care of. And the second one we're going to do now is going to be, we want to visualize our profit, but we want to visualize the profit using what we call a gauge. So I'm going to come back to my Power BI here, and I'm just going to look for the visual that is a gauge. And this is it. It's called the gauge, and this is it. So what I'm going to do here is I'm just going to drive my profit from the sales table. I'll drag my profit from the sales table into what we call the value here. And it gives me a gauge. Now, you can also perform further formatting on this visual. You can decide, okay, for your profit, you want, when is a certain color, you want it to be, when is a certain value, maybe below 50%, it should be red, more than 50%, it should be green. That is totally up to you. But here, what we're going to do here is we're going to look at the data labels. Now, the data labels are this part of it. You can always change the decimal or the display units if you want, but I'm going to leave it as it is. I can change, I want to change decimal places. And okay, so I've turned the decimal places to 0. And the call out value is on. This is the call out value, which is the actual value here. For the call out values, I'm just going to work on the call out values. The call out values, that will be here. Call out value, right down here. And for that, I want it to be bold. That's it. Decimal place, maybe I'll reduce it, make it just 1. And then we can come to our to see what we did with it here. Yes, just 1. Just 1 is fine. Make it just 1. And we'll go to the general to do other things. The title is on. So we can, for the title, we can make it bold. You can increase it if you want so that it can align with the rest and change it. So here we come here, do this way, and do this way, just so that it aligns with what is here. And I also want to add the effects. Let's add effects to it. Effects, and that can be shadow. We do shadow so it lifts it up. What else can we do to this? Colors, perhaps the fill color. Maybe we change it to it's up to you what you want to do, but this is also okay. Okay, so we are fine with this. We're fine with that. If there's anything else that we want to do on this part of side of things, you can make it whatever color you want. I've just decided to make it yellow to give it some. Okay, so we've also made the values here under the data labels board. So that's it. We have our profit displayed. So the next thing we want to display, according to what we have on the board here, is let's bring in our filters, the year, the category, and the region. So in order to do that, so we are going to do this part of aspect of things, year, category, and region. And in order to do that, we're just going to use what we call the filter. And the filter is here. The name of, sorry, not the filter, the slicer, sorry. The slicer, the name of the visual is called the slicer, and which is what we'll be using for the year. So we click on the slicer, and what you do basically, the slicer only accepts one value. We come to our date table, because it's a time intelligence function. It has summation values, but you know it has that because it has a summation sign. And it has a summation sign because there are numeric values in those columns. But it knows that, Power BI knows that that table is a date table because we have told it to recognize that date table. So you just put the year into this column, and this is what it gives you. So we are going to format it. What we want is a drop down. You come here, click on slicer settings, you click on options, and you click on drop down. So this has changed already. By the time you click on this, you can see. Now we can make it even look better. We come to the slicer header is on and it's text, and it reads here. We can increase this a bit onto and make this bold. And then, but it's not giving us the option to centralize it. So we can just turn it off altogether, come to general, come to title under general, turn title on, and just write our own title for more flexibility. Like I said before, each visual has its own formatting features, and we can make the title here bold, and we can centralize it. So that actually gives us more control over our visual. This gives us more control over our visual. And the next thing we are going to do is come to effects, put the shadow on. Also, we want the values in this to be bold, bolder than this. So what we're going to do is we come to visual to see slicer header is off. Values on the visual. Then we have the font color, we can make them bold and just check. And that's it. You can increase it if you want. And that's it. So yeah. So that is done for year. And what we are going to do is let's reduce it a bit so it doesn't take too much space. And that's fine. So, and because we've done this year and all the other, we want category and region. Category and region is the same, it's the same visual as year. So what we need to do is we don't need to create another from the scratch. We just hold this down, just make sure it's the size that we really want. Okay, hold this down, control copy it, and just control vomit it, control V. Use a control C and control V. Drag it. You can drag it into alignment to have equal spaces. That's it. So the second one for year, we are going to come to the field here. What you highlight it, it shows you the field. You take off the field, and we're going to drag category. Category is on our products table. Remember, the tables are all connected, so it's all talking to one another. So category, pull category into the field pane, and look at the drop down. You have, it's changed it already. So one thing it still reads year. So we come here, come to this title here. It keeps the same formatting, but you just need to swap the values. Category. And that's it. Power BI is that intelligent. The next one we want to do is the region. So the region is in the regions table. Come to the region table here and drag the region into the field pane. Come to the title here and change the title from year to region. And that's it. When you come down here, you have the central, east, southwest. So that is it. We are done with this part. Now, before we move on, if you notice on this side, what we have is sum of discounts. Yeah, which should not be the case. We missed that part. It should be average of discount. Sorry about that. So, and it should be in percentage. So what we are going to do basically is this. We'll want to change the sum of discount to average of discount. So you come to sum of discount. The concept behind this is this. If you go to a store, you buy 5 items at 20% off. It's not necessarily, if you buy 5 items at 20% off, that doesn't mean you have 100% discount. If you're going to, it still means you got 20% discount. So it shouldn't be sum of discount. It should actually be average of discount. So even if I buy 10 items at 20% off, I still got 20% discount, not a 200% discount. You don't sum discount up, you average it. So we change this to average. And this is when we get this. We get 0.16 here. But we want this to be in percentage. So the way to format that to percentage is to come to the data view here on the left-hand side, click on the data view, go to the sales table, click on the click on the discounts, which is what we want here, and change this. Display the values in this column in percentages. Yes. So we change this to percentage. And watch what happens. This is what happens. You have the values like this. So we can also change this here in the formatting pane under column twos to 0 decimal places. So it becomes all numbers. And this is what you get. And when you come back to your report view, you will notice the change. It's now 16% here. So let's play with our filters to make sure that everything is working right. 2015, 2016, 2017, 2014. And we can also play with the categories, decide furniture, office supplies, technology. You can play with the region, central. So you can see everything changing and that's it. And that's it. So yes. So it's everything is working as it should at the moment. Yes. So the next thing we are going to do is we are going to bring in this visual impact of discount on profit by the month. And we're going to do a little bit of formatting here. So just keep your eyes glued to it. So what we're going to use to achieve this is we're going to use our line, what we call the line chart. So we'll bring in the line chart here. The thing about this line chart is the line chart can accept more than one value. So it allows for comparisons. It can accept more than one value for comparisons. And the values we are going to be working with are the discount and the profit, because we want to see the impact of discount on profit. So when you click on this, highlight it, on our your x-axis should actually carry your time function. So first of all, we are going to fill in the y-axis that will carry the values that need comparison. So we are going to go to our sales table, and we'll draw in our profit, y-axis, profit, and we draw in the discount on the secondary y-axis. So what we want to see are two lines running. But we can't see those two lines because we have not put in the time series. So we need to put in the time series. Remember that for discount, it is not sum, it is actually average. So we change this to average. And so we want to see the time series. What we're going to do is we're going to come to the dates table. And now we want to use months. The reason we want to use months is because we already have the filter of the year. So we want to see how the discount affects the profit over the months. So month name in the x-axis. And when you bring the month name into the x-axis, let me make this bolder. You will see that the months are not arranged the way it should be arranged. Now we can sort that out. We have September, August, June, November. Excuse me. So you come to this 3 buttons at the top of your diagram, click on it, go to sort axis, and just use month name. And even when you use month name, if you notice this, it sorted it in descending order. Okay, let's try ascending order. And now it's April, August, December, and this is not what we want to see, okay? So what we can do now is we go back to our data view here on the left to see the dates table, come to the dates table, and we are going to use what we call, we are going to click on the month name, which is the one we want to format. We're going to use what we call the sort by column. And this is the reason we have our months in figures, because you use the sort by column allows you to sort a particular column that is in text by another column that is that has a numeric data type. So come to the sort by column, and we are going to sort the month name column by the month. Basically, we are sorting this column by this column. So once we've done that, we are going to see the change. So can you see that now we have January, February, March, April, May, June, July, August, September, October, November, December. And that is because our month column is in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So this is sorted. If I if I do it in descending order, you will have, this is what you will have. Let me sort the axis by descending. You will have December, November, October, up until January. Now let me sort it back, ascending. And that is it. So let's do some quick formatting on this. Personally, I don't like to see grid lines on, I like a clean chart. So I'm just going to take off the grid lines, take them off. It goes off. I'm also going to take off the numberings on both sides on the y-axis. Take this off, just to increase the area, the surface area of my chart. And what I'm going to do next is I'm going to turn on the markers. So turn on the markers so that at each point for each month, it marks it and it tells me the sum of profit and the average discount. And also for the lines, I don't understand why a discount should be in blue. I don't know if it's exactly a good thing. So I'm just going to change the colors. We can make the colors for the discounts, we can make it to red. So then we know when there is danger. And we'll leave, we can make the sum of profit. Profit is a nice thing. So we make it green. Come here and make it green. That's nice. And we can also increase the pixels just to make it bolder. And yeah, so one other thing we can do is come to the format my visual, come to general. The title is on. I can change the title here to impact of discount on profit. Impact of discount on profit. And then I can increase this, make it bold, and move it to the middle. And that is here and there. That is done. I can also decide to remove the legend, is up to you, depending on how neat you want it to look. And so what we can also do is the effect. So effects will be, I want the shadow. I want it to have the shadow as before. So, and this is it. So you have this. This is sorted. So it's, you can ask questions with this. Why this? Why do we have profits, discount going down, profits coming up? You know, it just shows you the relationship between the discount and the profit and months. And this is 2014. I can check on 2015. I can check on 2016. I can check on 2017, and that's it. So the next visual we're going to work on is the next visual we're going to work on is the top 5 profitable products. And this is also important. We're going to discuss another concept here. Top 5 profitable products will be, we're going to use the visual called the pie chart. So this is it. And for this, we're going to need 2 values. We're going to need, we're going to, yes, two values. One numerical value and one categorical value. And because it's for products, now we want to see what we are looking for actually is the top 5 profitable products. So it will be by profit, basically. So we come back here, and for the data fields for the values, we are going to come to the sales table, and we're going to pull the profits here. You can play with it. You can decide you want yours to be sales, but for this presentation is going to be profit. And after pulling it in from the sales table, you can come to the product table and pull your product name. So then we can know, and pull the product name into the details field. Now, this is what we have. This doesn't look very nice at the moment, but let's format it. First things first, we can take off the legend so we have a bigger view of our circle. But then again, it's not good practice for your pie chart to have so many values. It undermines the effectiveness of your pie chart. That means that the visual is not being optimized correctly. So what we are going to do is we are going to add a filter to this visual, and we'll come to the filters pane, and we have filters on this visual. This is important. It must be filters on the visual. And we want to place the filter on the product name. So this is what we do. We click on this product name here, We have three types of filtering: advanced filtering, basic filtering, and top N. We are going to use top N because we want the top 5 products by profit. So top, and then we are going to click on 5. And you can also change this to bottom. It's up to you. Maybe the list products, you can play with it. And we're going to have the data fields. So the data field for this will be profit. So we move the profit in here and apply filter. So you can see straight away that it's changed. It's changed. And so we are done with this filter part here. Let's come and format our visual. And what we're going to do is we can come to the detail labels. These detail labels, it has to do with what is outside of each slice. And we can decide that we don't want everything out there. So we can just do the category and the percent of total. So category basically is going to tell us the name of the product and the percentage of the total sales out of 100%, considering the 5 products that are being displayed. And here we have it. So it's giving us the name of the product and it's giving us the percentage of each. So you may not want to do product name. You may want to do category. You may want to do subcategory. So it's worth playing with. And you can also change the colors of the charts, and that's also okay. The values, we can increase the values from 9, make it a little bigger. You can make it bold if you want, so that then people can see it at a glance and know that this is the issue. Okay, so what we have here is product name. You can actually make yours category. And we come to general and change the title. So the title we want to give it is top 5 profitable products. Top 5 profitable products. You must make your visuals descriptive when it comes to titles so people understand quickly. Top 5 profitable products. And that is it. This bold and move it to the middle. And then the last thing we are going to do is the effects. That should be under general. Come down, effects. And for effects, background white, shadow. So that's it. There we have it. Top 5 profitable products. You scroll on it and you can see. You can see right away what and what percentage of profitability is there. So the last thing we are going to do, sorry, not the last thing. We have 2 visuals left. So the next visual we are going to work on is just a KPI, what we call a KPI visual, and is also a line chart. And that is this particular one here. This one here. So we are just going to move our KPIs into the KPIs from the sales table. So I'm going to get a line chart like the one we used before, just for comparisons, and just put it down here. Drag it. Move this up so that we can have enough space here. Okay, so here is very simple. Once again, your line visual always needs a time series. It always needs a time series. So I'm just going to come here to the date table. And what we are going to do is move the month name, since we've already sorted it to the x-axis, and our KPIs are on the sales table. So we are going to move our KPIs from the sales table. We're going to move sales, y-axis. Here, it doesn't really matter if it's y-axis or secondary y-axis. You just it just records whatever you bring there. We can also move discount. Okay, the discount is flat lining. It can be sum of discount. You can test. You can pull as many things as you want to pull in. What figures look the same? Sum of quantity, sum of sales, sum of quantity. We can bring in profits. We can bring in profits and sum of profits. Let's see what we have here. Sum of profits, sum of quantities, sum of sales by month name. It's just a KPI. It's a comparison. It's just for you to compare your KPI values. So, and We can also have, you can actually have the discount as well. But ours is not sum of discount, it's average of the discount. So it's just for your KPI values. It may not look so nice now, but it's just you can play around with it basically. So what we are going to do is change the title and just call it KPI trend analysis. I think that looks a lot better. KPI trend analysis, make it bold, that's the title, move it to the middle, and then come to the visual, take off this, take off the, yes, we don't want that to come on. We leave the um, x-axis on. We can also take off the legend to make it look cleaner because when you overrun it, it tells you what it is. We can put on the date, the markers, the yeah. So and the last thing will be the effects. Effects will be general. Um, effects, and for effects, we'll have the shadow run. So KPI trend analysis. And there you have it. Yes. So for the last visual is this is sum of sales by segment. Sum of sales by segment. So segment is in the customers table. So we are going to use what we call the tree map, which is here, the tree map, and we're just going to make this here. We're going to move it here. Segment is in the customers table. So sum of sales by segment, sum of sales. We are going to fill in the fields here. Tree map. Sales, customers. Oh no, sorry, this is the multi-row card. What we need is the segment, the tree map. Yes, so this is the tree map. Category, details and values. So what it means basically is you can have one data field here, another details to for extra granularity, and the values is the data values. So the values here would be a sum of sales, values sales by segment. Segment is in the customer table, and that is here. And you move that into the category. So what you can do here is you can format it. You can get the data labels on, and so we can make this FX actually means you can change color if it's not, if you want to, you can change color based on a particular condition that you set. Um, Change the decimal pieces, consumer, and then we can come here to title, sum of sales by segment. So we can change this to customer segment. And bold, 15, and we can centralize it, basically, centralize it. And then, and this is it. So for this, this should be fine. Effects will have a shadow run. Your other icons are on because, okay, we don't need to tamper with that. Visual, come to visual, values are on. You can increase the values if you want. Category labels, yes. So the category labels, you can also make the category labels bold. So then, and we can increase it so that we can see it better. Okay, so that's that. And the last thing we want to do is to bring in the logo. So to bring in the logo, we click on Insert on this tab. Just click on Insert next to the Home tab and come to Image. So for the image, we're going to check our downloads. Is in downloads? Yes, I think so. You can use any logo that you want. I already have I'm just going to use the Grand Analytics logo, and it comes here, and just put it to the size of, and yeah, this is a transparent logo, so I can actually format it. Um, General effects, give it a shadow as well. Make the background, turn the background on and make it white. And that's it here. So we've already created all of our visuals. So we just need to adjust everybody to look good. Um, Move this up a bit. Move this up a bit. This up a bit or so. Get this down here. We can change the year to see how everything actually works. And you can notice, see everything working together and coming up nicely. So we can move this here. Move this, make this a little bigger. That's too small. Make it a little bigger. You can format it however you want. Make this also a little bigger. Feels small. Reduce this a bit to give this more space. Reduce this a bit. Reduce this a bit and increase this a bit. Increase this also a bit. We can reduce this ones actually. Reduce this ones. Use this. Increase this a bit. Use this to align with this. Increase this to align with this. And reduce this a bit so that we can have this on it. Make this align with this. 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 So one last thing we can do is this is not the last thing actually. Click on your canvas anywhere on your canvas, and let's just give it the canvas a nice color. Click anywhere on your canvas and come here. It should show you canvas settings, canvas background, sorry. And we can give it a nice blue color and reduce the transparency. So then it looks like what we have. And yes, so this is it. So there's still one last thing we are going to do. And before we do that, we're just going to look at. So this is building a dashboard at the very basics. This is how you build your dashboard. And the last thing we're going to do is to deploy our dashboard to Power BI service. Okay. And to do that is the Home tab. But before we go to that, this is the very basics. You can build a dashboard that also looks like this, that has a summary board, and you can calculate what we have, the year-on-year growth, the year-on-year growth, you can total orders, total average spend. You can have a dashboard that has a summary like this, that has a summary that has revenue by country, has all of this. And you can come here, you see the data view, you see the model, data modeling, and this is a snowflake design actually. And it also has a measures table, it has call center, it has a lot of things here already. So you can build a dashboard that is like this. Now, Power BI can also do beyond all of that. You can also have what we call forecast. I have a tab here that is forecast, and you can forecast with Power BI. The ability to use Power BI for forecasting is just amazing. And that is what we have here. You can forecast trends. You can see how things will go on with the upper bound and the lower bound, depending on what you choose. So it's this, you can have your dashboard to be in a descriptive format like this. You can drill down to the details. Some of these things may not exactly have, yeah, the right, but Power BI gives you the ability to do forecasts. That's what it is. And aside from that, you have I have a promotions tab here. This is another data set, right? I have a promotions tab here, and you can actually decide how certain conditions affect sales, affect the business, affect how the business grows. Now we have what we call key influencers. This was also done using Power BI. And you can see when certain things happen, it affects sales. So it affects profits. These are some of the things that Power BI can do. So beyond just drawing a dashboard that does descriptive uh, analysis, you can actually have a dashboard that does predictive analysis to predict what is going to happen in the future. So Power BI is that intelligent. It goes beyond just storing dashboard for describing your data, describing what is going on in the business. You can also predict what will happen in the business. So what you get from Power BI depends on your knowledge of Power BI, basically. So also we have, you can have other charts, and it's very important for you to know how to use each visual in Power BI. Each visual is meant for some is as a way of being used in an optimal manner. So you should also have the skills to optimize your report. That's what it means. So these are the capabilities of Power BI. So beyond just having a descriptive analysis, you can actually use Power BI for predictive analysis, for diagnostic analysis, to know why, which is what happened with this promotions tab, for diagnostic analysis, know how each factor affects the business. Okay. And in lieu of that, we have a course coming up on the 11th of January, which is the Advanced Power BI course. That is going to teach us, how to use Power BI, or how to use Power BI beyond the dashboard, how to create all these predictive charts, these diagnostic charts, how to really derive intelligence from a business. And this course starts 11th of January. The value is $499, but it's going for $199. It's going for $199. And to get to take advantage of the offer, to find the details in the description, in the comments below. The details will be in the description below. So you should take advantage of this offer. And in addition to learning to become a Power BI pro, we also have, for this same price, we also have a bonus of SQL training and Excel training. So more at the introductory level, but enough for you to build something on. So that this will be added as bonuses to the Power BI course. But by the time you're done with this course, even if you want to write a Power BI examination, a Power BI certification exam, you should not need dumps. So basically, we'll be turning Power BI inside out. And you may be asking, what is the need for you? This course, industry-led training and certification, real-world projects, and portfolio building, LinkedIn profile optimization, guidance and personalized support, and the duration is 8 weeks. So we're starting on the 11th of January every weekend, and it's all just for $199. That is unbelievable for what you're going to get in this course. And what careers are available to you, apart from being a data analyst? You can become a cloud data specialist, a data product manager, and so these are the things that are available to you on this course. So let's go back to our Power BI dashboard. So we'll take advantage of this and kickstart your year in a brilliant way. Kickstart your year, start 2025 with a brilliant career in 10. So by the end of March or by March, you should be a Power BI Pro. That's what it is, just for $199. And if you're someone that doesn't like to learn in the class, you want to learn alone, just for $299, you can have personalized one-on-one coaching. And for those that will be attending the class, also they would also have certain times where they can meet with the tutors and get some extra help with some extra help. So the last thing we're going to do is to publish our Power BI desktop, our Power BI reports to Power BI service. So to do that, you're on the Home tab and you just click on Publish. It's going to ask you, yes, save the changes, and it's going to tell you to name your report. We call it Report 6 and save. And it should take us to the Power BI service. Yes, my workspace, select. And if you do not have a Power BI subscription service, the link to subscribe to Power BI will be below in the description section. Open your Power BI report. Use another account. That should be sign in. And here we go. So we should see our report here. And here it is. Our report is here on Power BI service. So from here, we can collaborate, we can share the reports, we can send it to whoever we want to send it to. The Power BI service is also another aspect of our training, and we'll be teaching how to use Power BI, how to set the security on reports, how to share your reports with people in the organization and outside the organization, how to share with C-level. So those are the things we would be doing. And so when you're here, you can just click on it, and you don't need to hold down any key because you didn't create a report here. And you can actually have collaborators to this report here. So it still works fine. And it's always beautiful to see how these things work here. And you can see the trend, KPI trend analysis. See the data marked, sum of profit is negative, sum of quantity, average discount 24%, sum of sales. So yes, so thank you for joining us on this practical session, and we hope to see you in class on the 11th of January. Bye.